Achana Breachroom. What are some of the opportunities you think they are in these fields you would allow any Ghanaian women? I want you to list some of these opportunities out for us. So some opportunities Ghanaian women can take advantage of as they step into leadership. Some of the opportunities these students here, these young women here can take advantage of as they step into the leadership. Well, thank you.
Thank you. First and foremost, society is beginning to understand much better because a lot of scientists are studying women impact in society.
That's right.
And companies are beginning to understand that when you have women, you have better economic output. When you have women leaders, you have a different dynamic to leadership. And so there are a lot more opportunities now. It is a more favorable space in the world now to be a woman. And if you are a woman scientist from Africa, you are a rare gem.
Yes.
And everybody wants you because you bring a different dimension to doing science, to doing engineering, than the regular person who would be doing it, which would be usually European
or an American
and male, or
yeah.
American and male. And so because of that, there are a lot more opportunities. And what's also happening is that, like where we are now, you have Wistem that has, where women who have had to struggle on their own as academics here in KNUST have had to struggle on their own and have said, no, we need to work better together. And you have an institution like Wistem that exists now to help female academics in KNUST. And if you're a young woman, you're a student, and you've heard about Wistem, you should be approaching any of the female academics, because at the lowest hanging fruit is that you have a women-centered institution that's interested in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, in supporting women in this space. For any young woman who is in KNUST as a student, your lowest hanging fruit is to reach out to Wistem and have conversations with members of Wistem and learn something from them. That's the lowest hanging fruit in terms of opportunities that are available. But if you look online, you check the internet, there are all kinds of opportunities that are targeted towards African women in STEM. And this is because society understands that we need to do a lot more than we have done in the past to be able to level the playing field. And so just go online, Google, you will find so many opportunities that are out there. But off the top of my head, the lowest hanging fruit I'll say would be get in touch with Wistem, get in touch with any of the female academics that are around you. There's a depth of wisdom and knowledge and impact that they can give you. Thank you.
Thank you. So Dr. Baidu, please add a word or two to it.
In fact, there are several opportunities. He mentioned online. That is one of the places that you can get.
Exactly.
Here locally, there are so many opportunities. I was talking to some of the students about RAIL. I'm also a fellow of RAIL. We are running 2 projects, RAIL and then AI for Sustainable Development. And we are running programs like She Codes, currently here, available to all female students. In fact, our priority is the female students, but the males are also welcome. So, and I'm sure that student leaders, like women in science, wine, they all organize programs such as this so that they expose us to women who are breaking barriers in our field. Please take advantage of that to build capacity, to network. All right? Educate yourself. Take opportunities. All these are available right here on KNUST campus.
That's
Search
right.
online.
Yes.
If you don't get the information, go online, LinkedIn. You can reach out to women who are also doing well out there. Approach your lecturers. Your lecturers are also breaking those barriers. Ask them, talk to them. Madam, how did you go about it? I know that it is not easy to be in science. Madam, I find the course challenging. So that they can give you tips on how to excel. All right? So please, take advantage of this program. One of such program is this current one that is happening. So the opportunities are there, available to you. Please take advantage of it. I'm kind of sad because we don't see the women around. I was expecting the place to be full. In fact, I went out to make several calls to call my students to come and say, why are you not here? Why are you not here? This is an opportunity for you to learn, broaden your horizon.
Exactly.
See that what you are going through, you are not alone. Most of the time they think they are alone. You are not alone. Someone has walked through and have made it. So can you. So can you. You are capable. You understand? You are capable. So please, take advantage. You are here. And I like the fact that the MC insisted that you write. Sometimes you go meet students at such programs, you will sit there, talk, and nobody. I noticed that during the orientation, none of them lifted a pen to write. They think that, oh, I can listen, I can keep it, I have a good memory. No. Write it down. And also write down your plans and aspirations. And see. Refer to them from time to time. The notes that you are taking, please refer to them from time to time. I didn't mention it. When the gentleman said that to me, in fact, I was down. I had to uplift myself. All right? Sometimes I go on YouTube, watch women, TED Talk, women in STEM, just to inspire myself. But here we are bringing it to you. The opportunity is there, but you are not here. And I'm also glad to mention that the males have also realized that we are leaving them behind. That is why they are here.
Yes.
Yes,
it's
they have realized that we are leaving them behind.
Yeah.
So as I was telling you about the program that we are running, the priority is female, but we had a male school writing to us to be part of it because they have seen the benefits. Because the future is AI.
Exactly.
The future is AI, and the opportunity is here. I will not say it's difficult. It will be challenging. You will be tested because perhaps you have no idea what it is about. You'll be challenged. Please, be bold to take up the challenge. Be confident to take up the challenge. Dare to fail. It is through failure that you grow. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much. Please, a round of applause for Dr. Baidu. Yes, so now, ladies and gentlemen, let's shift the gears to leadership and impact. In Ghana today, a lot of women are taking leadership roles. Yes, even in parliament. I think this year we have over 40 women being MPs in Ghana. And also, let's come to our own home, our motherland, KNUST. The first ever Vice Chancellor, Professor Rita Dixon, and our first ever Director of Student Affairs, Professor Marian Nkansa. I love to see it. Midian Kaminya Yanka. Any big position Bianca Yama. Yes, somebody will say, Cecilia, it will be KNUST Girls University. Yes, that's my wish, but it can be possible. When we look at leadership, so Mrs. Juliana Opon Asari will help me with this one. Leadership styles can shape outcomes. And the question I want to ask you is, how do women leaders bring a different approach to leadership? And why does it matter? How do women leaders bring a different approach to leadership? And why does it matter?
When it comes to leadership style, then I want to link it to communication a bit, yeah. You know, there are a lot of schools of thoughts that have come up with how women lead, how they communicate, to get it. So there is this scholar, Deborah Tannen. She wrote a book, The Place of a Woman. Then in that, she said that when women speak, their desire is just to get connection, as men desire to get power. When it comes to leadership, leadership is about power. So for a woman to have, basically, intrinsically, she has that desire to get connection. Then she strives to be in a position that is to acquire the power. You put it together, then you become, you know, a dynamite that you can explode.
That's right.
So women have empathy. Women, you know, don't like conflict. But when conflict comes, women are the first people who desire to solve or to take care of the conflict. So to me, when women are in position, they take leadership. You know, they have the underlying feature of power that the men have, but we also add what we have. Because even in Akan, the local palace, to say that anobrebre ema abato, and we have that quality of, you know, that soft-spokenness. So a woman can talk you through something. By the time you realize you have given it out, before you even realize you've done that. So for women to be in position, to me, it's an opportunity that in every nation, every institution, they have to reserve a position for women. Women have to be part. You know, women have ideas, the way they can think. You know, you enter the kitchen, you look at the ingredients, you don't even know what you are going to cook. But you look at the ingredients and you create something. Yes. So our cooking does not always depend on the ingredients we have or what we want to come up with, but what we have, the little thing a woman has, she can help to generate it. We even look at conception. They usually say that you give a woman a seed and she will nurture it, give a full human being to you. So to me, when women are in leadership, you know, it's a plus for that institution, because we have what the men have, then we add what we have to you know, groom it to make it bloom. So that is what I can say.
All right, thank you so much. So I will want Dr. Baidu to also speak. So looking at Ghana's economy, we are all aware that our economy is struggling, but all the same, women are still doing big things. They are still playing major roles in businesses. And my question is, how can women leaders drive economic growth?
Women leaders can drive economic growth.
Driving the economic growth in order for economic prosperity and also to create opportunities for other women.
So you mean women in leadership?
Exactly.
What they can do to?
Yes, drive economic growth so that it creates an avenue to open opportunities for other women.
Okay, so women in leadership can use their platform to encourage other women. And also, for example, if a woman is in a business, like in a position in a financial institutions, for example, she can use a position to advocate for women who are in business, especially those who find it difficult to access support, financial support. They can do that to advocate for such women to get the support that they need in order for their businesses to put in the necessary funds in order for their businesses to flourish. Women in leadership can also take advantage of their connections to also build businesses, all right? Yeah. That can employ, give employment opportunity for other women to also become economically empowered and financially free. For me, that is what I readily can think about that women in leadership can do. And also, for example, women in leadership can also use their platforms to also support, all right, provide the necessary support for other women, create the opportunities, run programs. Some can even start businesses.
Exactly.
All right, some can even start businesses. So, for example, I had a senior I attended Holy Child School. One of my seniors, she's called Regina Ijare. She has started an IT firm that supports girls and women who are interested in building capacity in that area. And the other thing too is that women also think about inclusivity.
Yes.
All right, women also, leaders also think about inclusivity and making opportunities available for women, young women, or women who aspire, all right, to become something in future, to take advantage of those opportunities. So that is what I can briefly say about that.
All right. Yes. So, Mrs., you can add to it. Thank you.
Okay. To add to it, I want to draw our attention to the fact that when you talk of women in leadership, we are not talking about a woman who has a well-furnished office, you know, with subordinates and a furnished place with a lot of subordinates under her. We are all leaders in our own small ways. I am a leader because I have students to teach.
That's right.
I lead them. I facilitate them.
Yeah.
So woman has a lot of arenas to help empower people. The first arena is your home.
Yeah.
You are a mother, you have children. You can start from there.
Yeah.
You go to the markets. You see the market women. You can talk to them. My seamstress one told me that she wants to stop. Why? These days, people don't patronize me. I said, no. There are a lot of things you can also add. You know, these hair bonnets, now a lot of people, you can even sew these nightwears you sell. So you don't have to sit there behind your machine and wait for somebody to bring a fabric to you. Even these ribbons, other things you can add to. So it's an opportunity. You go to the market, you see a woman selling. Maybe you sell ginger, and you are complaining people are not buying. But the same ginger you can dry, you can turn them to powder, you add to it. You are selling plantain. The plantain gets ripe, they get rotten. Why don't you bring a coal pot, maybe a pan? You come with oil, you fry some, you sell. So we can impact them, we can empower them. You take your child to school, you see the teacher teaching your child. You know, she has been on one rank for a very long time. You take the opportunity, talk to that teacher. You can, you know. So women have a lot of arenas. You are the one who will take your child to the hospital.
That's right.
You can take advantage to talk to the nurse, the young nurse.
Yeah.
So we are everywhere. So we have, you know, a much bigger space to empower, so that economic growth will also be realized by all of us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mrs. Please, would you want to add something? All right. Thank you so much. Please, I believe we are taking notes, and everything that they are saying is well understood. Please don't worry. At the right time, I will open the floor for any questions, okay? Thank you very much. So we are moving to segment 3, where we are looking at social justice and campus life. When it comes to women in leadership, it isn't just about the boardroom, but also it is about what? Shaping policies that impact the community positively. Let's bring it down to our campus here. I want to commend the SRC Women's Commissioner for a good job done. I think at the beginning of the semester, I stand to be corrected, whether the first years arrived or before or after, she was doing a campaign on sexual harassment on campus. And, you know, making sure that if you're sexually harassed, please, not just the women, sometimes the women, they harass the boys. They do that. Yes. Is it? No, the men here, is it true? Please let me get the yes properly, so that we, oh yes. Thank you. Sometimes the women also do same, all right? She's been doing a great job campaigning about sexual harassment, making sure that if you're sexually harassed, you report to the right authorities. Now, my question is, even though the WUCOM is pushing that agenda, more work has to be done in that area. So how can women leaders like her push for real change on campus? Not just her, but other women leaders on campus push for real change on campus when it comes to these sexual harassment, discrimination issues, and all these gender bias violence. So I'll begin with Dr. Breachum.
Okay. First, I'll say that it's important that these conversations be framed in a way that people understand that it affects the entirety of society.
Exactly.
So we shouldn't always make it the responsibility of women leaders. It should be the responsibility of society to be talking about these issues. And the first approach is to have conversations, because when we are having conversations and we are engaging, then we are learning and discovering. Because, so for example, if you talk to men about the kinds of sexual harassment that they face, you'll find that for many of them, it's not physical sexual harassment. They're talking about things like the lady wore a short skirt and came to class, and so I felt sexually harassed.
Yeah.
But for women, that's not sexual harassment. If a guy wears short shorts, they don't consider that sexual harassment. Sexual harassment for women is something that is degrading, embarrassing, and takes away their autonomy. And so when you start to have conversations like this and you frame the conversations this way, it helps for young men to also see, or for men, not just young men, for men to also see what kinds of behaviors are healthy for society and what kinds of behaviors aren't. Because at the end of the day, what impacts women is coming from the society. It's coming from how society has engineered its norms, its ideas as to what is healthy behavior and what is unhealthy behavior. So what I'll say is that there has to be the first level is that there has to be an intentional push for these kinds of conversations. You have to have forums where people can talk, discuss, and learn. Then we need to get experts engaged in this. And very fortunately, Ghana has lots of people who are studied, lots of academics who have studied these things, who have published, who have done lots of research in this. So we can get them to engage in these conversations as well, so that then we can change the conversations around what sexual harassment is. KNUST has a sexual harassment policy, and I don't think that a lot of people have read it. Not many people understand what it means, what the implications are, and so on and so forth. So there needs to be an intentional campaign, but this has to come from, well, the push has to come from a certain leadership framework that says we want to do this over the next 10 years, because when we look at the data, we see that this is what's going on campus. These are the kinds of marginalized issues that are going on campus. And in let's say some 2025, 2026, or 2027, 2028, sorry, we're already in 2025, we want to get to this point and see our statistics improve to this point. And then you can have a framework policy that pushes towards this. But this is just off the top of my head how we can address some of
Thank you
these
so
things.
much. Dr. Baidu, please add something to it.
I think that I'm of the opinion that I think some of the girls who are sexually harassed, sometimes they feel unsafe to talk about their experience. And in fact, it's sad to say that some of them are not willing to speak up because they are afraid. Because they are afraid. And the fear is that when I come out to share my experience, nothing will possibly happen to the perpetrator. So the victim is rather what? The lady is rather blamed and victimized. So because they don't see any of these reports being tackled the right way and bringing the culprit to book, it becomes difficult for them to speak up. And sometimes we always have conversation. You know, engineering is dominated by men, male lecturers, some students. There have been cases whereby some of my colleagues have had to handle on the quiet. And they tell me that, well, from experience, we think that we have to help the victim to rather get her sanity, regain her sanity, and not to report the incident. And I find that to be sad, right? And it's not that the policy is not there, but the implementation. The policy is there, but the implementation. So I think that moving forward, there has to be the will to crack the whip. There has to be the will to crack the whip, so that women, young female students, will feel safe to voice out, to not be afraid to voice out some of the challenges that they have with sexual harassment. So that is what I can say about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs., please add a word to it.
Okay, I will also say that we need to create the platform for them to reach out to us. As I'm sitting here and we're having this discussion, I feel kind of guilty because when I started working, I think around 2015, thereabout, I used to spend about 5-10 minutes of my lecture period talking to them about their rights on campus, how they can defend themselves. And I realized at that time, some of them were coming to me, confiding in me with their problems, which some of them I was able to, assist them solve. So when it comes to these things, I remember a student came to me, talked about how a male lecturer was harassing her. So I told her to give me a little time. So one day I called her to come. We went to the male lecturer. So I just entered and I said that, oh, this is a friend's daughter that she has placed under my care. So I just want to introduce her to all the lecturers so that you all see her as your nephew or your niece, right? So the man said, oh, okay. So when I left, she called the lady and said, so you are related to Madam Juliet and you didn't tell me all along. So as how I got that idea, I think it's divine anyway. So some will come to us. That is only when we give them the opportunity to trust us. And some too, there is a case right now, a lady after failing, trailing in the paper, has written supplementary twice, still failing. Now she came to me, I know there is a problem. There is a missing link. From where I am sitting, I will not be able to help. I'm just a colleague lecturer, so I can't approach. I've been persuading this lady to allow this matter to be presented to the head of department so that we take it from there, but she's afraid. She said she doesn't want to create further problems for herself. So I think some of the things too, we need to advise them or show them the way. If you have this problem, at least go to this office, because you come and tell me, but there is nothing I can do. I can only listen to you. But this is because of this, the lady is not going to graduate. She's in the final year now, and she doesn't have any other opportunity to do it. So I think platforms like this can help, but we can also give the students the opportunity to come to us. So we can start from somewhere so that at the lecture hall, just talk to them. After all, the person is just one personality. Maybe you register 1 or 2 courses. What about the others? If you allow yourself to be used, then maybe he gives you an A. The other courses, you get, D, C. At the exams board meeting, you'll be questioned. Why is it that this student had D, 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 C, and this particular course, she had an A? Then you start investigating. So even if you allow them and they help you, so to say, what they promise you with, it will expose you in other areas. So you just have to be confident. It is your body. It is you. What can the person do to you? Some of them, if you take it up, they'll also be scared and they will stop. So stand for your rights. You can talk back in a way that, you not put yourself in other troubles. So I think we can also do something.
Exactly. All right, please go ahead.
And those who actually tolerate that, I would like to advise you that when you allow yourself to be used, you are rather denying yourself, all right, the opportunity to grow, the opportunity to acquire knowledge, the opportunity to acquire a skill. That is what you'll be good at. But remember that it is not everywhere that you can use your body to what? To create opportunities for yourself.
That's true.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Baidu. Ladies, please do well to speak up. If you find yourself in a situation like that, do well to speak up. And also be your brother's keeper. There are so many people that are victims and they are not able to air their issues because they are afraid, because they are timid. If you know you have a friend like that, please kindly report to the authorities in charge so they take action. Please, you want to add something?
Add that the Directorate of Student Affairs is very proactive on this.
That's right.
And so if you know anyone who is having an issue, you can go with a person. There are counselors in the university who are supporting a lot of students who are going through challenges. And if anything gets to the Directorate of Student Affairs, you can be rest assured an investigation will be carried out. You'll be protected and everything will be handled very appropriately. So please, as much as possible, reach out to the Director of Student Affairs. If you don't feel like talking to any of your lecturers, you can reach out to the Director of Student Affairs. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bertram. Ladies and gentlemen, let me also use this opportunity to remind you that this program is proudly brought to you by Wistem Ghana in collaboration with the GRASA Gender Commission and the SRC KNUST Women's Commission. And it's all about the International Day for Women and Girls in Science with the theme Women in Leadership, a New Era of Sustainability and Inclusivity. And if you just joined us too, we are discussing the topic Advancing and Sustaining Economic Prosperity, Social Justice and Environmental Sustainability. Thank you. Now let's move on to segment 4, where we'll be talking about environmental sustainability. When it comes to anything about sustainability, women are doing very well, especially in taking climate actions. You see a lot of women there, but there's a problem. Women are not getting the attention they deserve. Now, my question to Dr. Bertram, what are some of the innovative ways Ghanaian women leaders are contributing to environmental sustainability? What are some of the innovative ways Ghanaian women leaders are contributing to environmental sustainability? Looking at issues as like illegal mining, Galamsey has become the talk of town. Since last year, there was even a demonstration on it, and it's terrible because according to I think the World Information on Water, we are told that by 2030, Ghana water wouldn't be safe for drinking. And it's really heartbreaking, it's really disheartening, you understand? So what are some of these things we have to do to ensure that all these issues are solved, we provide solution to it, and also the innovative ways Ghanaian women leaders are contributing to environmental sustainability?
Okay, so I always like low-hanging fruits. We're in KNUST,
Exactly.
and there are lots of female academics who are doing lots of exciting research in environmental sustainability. Professor Mercy Bedu is doing some work in that area. Professor Marianne Cancer, off the top of my head, is doing a lot of research in that area, trying to understand climate impact, environmental sustainability impact on Ghana. And so you have that at the basic level. You also have lots of women-led NGOs, because the environmental impacts are higher on women than, research shows us higher on women than on men, because again, women tend to be primary caregivers, so they usually have to take care of children, of both, well, they say that women take care of both the future of the world and the past of the world.
That's right.
So they have to take care of aged people, they have to take care of babies. And so when there are issues with pollution, environmental impact pollution like this, you are going to have people who will fall sick. When people fall sick, who is going to take care of the people who are sick? It's going to be women. When you have impact on climate change, where there's where you have food insecurity, where food prices go up,
Exactly.
who are those who are selling food in the market? It's women. Who are those who are going to the market to buy food, to cook food for their families? It's women. So you have these kinds of things that are impacting women directly. So you have lots of women-led organizations. I think there's one called Net Right Ghana. That's a collection of women-led NGOs that are doing a lot of policy advocacy in this dimension as well. So these are just two that are off the top of my head, two areas that are off the top of my head where women are having this kind of impact within the country. You also have the market women, you have fisher folk, the fishmongers, who are also doing a lot of work in this space because they are seeing the direct impact of this on their communities, and so they are making a lot of advocacy and noise in this dimension as well. So yes, these are just the ones that come off the top of my head on this question. Thank you. All
right, thank you. Doc, you can add a word to it.
Oh, in fact, a lot is being done. He has mentioned some female researchers. Also, I have engineer Benetta Kumsin, who is also doing something on galamsey. In fact, using industrial waste to produce adsorbent to absorb some of these metals that pollute the water. A lot is being done, and I think based on the research that I did, I have Aula Sewa, who is an environmentalist and a coordinator for Eco-Conscious Citizens Ghana. She is working with female farmers, and mind you, he said a lot. There are about, per the research that I did, there's about 70% of women are in agriculture and its related sectors. So you can imagine if women don't champion climate change, because we are major stakeholders. If you don't champion climate change, imagine what is going to happen. We are key stakeholders, so we have to take up the charge. Also, there are some that are championing the use of electric vehicles. So women are doing a lot. We are doing a lot in this area to combat climate change and ensure environmental sustainability. Thank you.
All right. So, Dr. Baidu, still on you. Yes, with all these innovative things mentioned, now how can they use their platform to inspire other women to adopt these sustainable habits? How can they use these, their platforms, these innovative projects they are doing to inspire other Ghanaian women to take up or to adopt these sustainable habits?
It's mainly through education.
Exactly.
Mainly through education. I think Joy, is it the sister station here? Joy FM.
Joy Love
FM.
Yeah.
And Joy News. I think they have this platform whereby they come to interview any researcher in KNUST that has conducted a groundbreaking research. We can use that platform because they go far. And we should also find ways to translate our research findings in the language.
That's right.
Use the local language to communicate, because we are in the 21st century, right? But a lot of women still are not educated. And even those who are educated, sometimes there are some things that you understand it better when you hear it spoken in your local language. So that is one of the ways, education, advocacy.
That's right.
Thank you.
All right. So that means I know Mrs. Juliana has a lot to say. Everything she's about to say is literally in the segment 5. That is about empowering through education. And we are all aware that when it comes to empowerment, education is the biggest tool when it comes to empowerment. So my question for you, from the communication perspective, how can we use education to prepare more women for leadership and some of these things we're talking about?
Okay, so they've mentioned part of the education
exactly.
through research. But we ask ourselves, how many people get access to these research? So at the end of the day, they are kept in our shelves online. How many people are able to read? So that is where this language barrier thing comes in. I remember I sent an abstract. There was a conference on this environmental sustainability. I sent an abstract. They rejected because it is language. So I decided to attend the conference at all costs. So when it was time to, you know, for question and answers, I jumped in and I told them that language barrier is a hindrance to this information dissemination.
That's true.
Because you buy something, maybe a spray you use, then they write highly flammable, highly inflammable. What is even the difference between that? Do we understand which of the things are we supposed to burn? Which of them are we supposed to bury? Which can be recycled? So the language is the hindrance, the barrier. People don't understand. So you write, do not urinate here. Can they read? Even sometimes when we use pictures, are they able, the semiotics, are they able to interpret? So whatever we do, we need to do that. Last time, I think KCCR had a program, they went to the field, and I was the one who transcribed and translated. So I am making an appeal that the sciences, sometimes you need to collaborate with the language department. We are there to help. It will be a joy for us to join the train. So anytime we go for Wistem meetings, initially we told them that we don't belong here. But we later realized that when we talk of sciences, language is also a science. My department is now Department of Language and Communication Sciences. So we are also part of the sciences. I met Professor Anson for the first time, I think about 3 months ago, when we had a workshop here in this building on grantmanship. So I greeted him, said, have we met? I said, no, we've not met personally, but I have worked for you for over a decade. Even as an undergraduate student, that is how, you know, I managed to take care of myself. I was doing translation, clinical researches. I was doing it. So we need to come together. Language cannot be taken away because of your little education or where you have reached, you know that after, you know, using this, I have to dispose it well. What about your grandmother, the one in the village, they are the ones who create the problems for us. And everything we write, the English, they are so big. So we say antimicrobial resistance. It is so big, and yes, they buy the antibiotics, they are just taking it. Yeah. They don't understand that term.
Exactly.
What is antimicrobial resistance? You need to come to the level to tell them that when you take the antibiotics, it gets to a point that, you know, the body becomes so exhausted that when you take more, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work, yeah.
So we need to come to the level. Use language, plain language that they will understand. So the education can be given, but it has to be given in a language or a medium that a person or the people can understand. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Also, I would like to add that even those who are differently abled, we also have to find a way to communicate
with them.
Yes, exactly. Because they all live in the society, and they're also stakeholders. So
that is very important.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. So we are moving to the last segment, which is actually just one question. And the last segment, that's a segment 6, we are looking at building an inclusive society. And we're all aware that an inclusive society benefits everyone. So Dr. Breachum, my question for you here is, what are some of the best ways to mentor women, that want to take up leadership roles? This is the last one, so I'll take a bit from each and every one. Then I can give my audience too the opportunity to, hello, please, are you with us? When I say wisdom, what's the response?
Inspiring generation.
Empowering. Inspiring generation. Okay, wisdom.
Inspiring generation.
Hey, Obia Canada. Together, we inspire generations. Oh, okay. So, wisdom.
Together, we inspire generations.
You didn't say something. Say it. Wisdom. Correct for 3 points. So, wisdom once again.
Together, we inspire generations.
Thank you so much. So, Dr. Breachum, your question: the best ways to mentor these women to take up places in the future of our country?
Well, I guess you're asking me as a man, so
Yeah, as a man.
I'll answer from that perspective. First and foremost, it's important that societies develop what are called male allies.
Yeah.
Because we live in a world together, we exist in this world together, so it's important that men see themselves as allies in pushing this agenda, and that we also understand that it does not undermine your manness if women take up leadership roles. It is to your advantage that society benefits from the wisdom and style that women bring to the table. And if you have that in your mind, then you are comfortable with pushing a woman as far as she can possibly go.
Yes.
Now, the first thing you need to do is to understand the complex social dynamic when you're dealing with women and what they have to deal with. Because if, for example, you shared your story how you got married at 38. So if you have a female PhD who is pushing past 35 and is not married and is doing some hardcore engineering or French literature or whatever it is, that person is going to be dealing with challenges that you as a man cannot begin to imagine, because well, I got married at 35. I faced my own challenges, but it wasn't as bad as what my female friends went through. Nobody is going to be talking to you and telling you how you are going to not be marriage material. And that's something that you can never, as a man, you can never understand. So it's important that you learn to listen and learn to appreciate the complex social dynamic and help the woman you are mentoring into leadership navigate these spaces. You have to learn not to enforce certain unhealthy stereotypes. So, for example, anytime you have a committee that's been set up, then you push the women into secretary positions. When you are organizing, and I'm the leader of the Photonic Student Chapter, and they will tell you, my people are here, they will tell you,
That's nice.
when we go out for programs, I make sure that it is the men who are handling the food. Because, and they are here. They know this.
They'll eat all of
No,
the
they
food.
won't. No, because the idea is that it's an unhealthy stereotype that you are enforcing, and it doesn't, because the women, the student leaders, the ladies will naturally come to where the food is. But we all eat, and we all need to know how to be responsible for what we eat.
Yes.
So these are things that you need to be intentional. If you're a man, a male ally, you need to be intentional about enforcing, so that you redefine the ideas around leadership in their minds. Because there are certain ideas, and I think one of you was talking about the ideas behind leadership, that there are certain, society sees leadership, if you ask anyone who a good leader is, they begin to describe strong male characteristics. Someone who is domineering, someone who people listen to. When the person enters a room, people are quiet and listening to the person. But there are other ideas about leadership, like ideas of empathy, of collaboration, that women will push better. And you need to teach the communities that you are involved in. And so I'll say not just for the women, but also for the men as well, so that they can challenge the stereotypes that they find themselves in, the gendered norms that they find themselves in, and rethink how they can be better at positioning themselves as leaders, creating a healthy environment for both men and women to flourish. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone to add up anything? Before I move to our audience, Doc, would you want to add a word or two to ways in which we can mentor these upcoming women leaders on campus?
In fact, as I've already said, the opportunities are there. For example, Wistem.
Exactly.
Wistem, I'm not too sure. I think they have a mentorship program. Rail also has a mentorship program. So, and then also MasterCard, there's a mentorship program.
Yeah.
And all these are avenues that for you to grow and develop skills.
That's right.
Those leadership skills. So please, my ladies, Please take advantage of it. I even told you about real. You know, the interesting thing is that I strongly feel that the men think that we are leaving them behind. So even though the advertisement was that the mentorship program was for females, we had about 3 males applying because they have seen an open door and they have to enter and take advantage of it.
Yeah, that's right.
You understand?
Yes.
So the opportunities are there, the avenues are there. Please take advantage of it. You may never know where it will, those skills that you acquire will lead you. Thank you.
The opportunities are there, the doors are open. Do well to enter. Please, would you want to add anything?
So we say that leadership everywhere in class. Sometimes one thing I've realized is that when there is a group work, the ladies will just buy icy cup for the guys to do the work for them.
Oh,
Yes.
is that so? Is that what you do in class?
Sometimes they do. They buy icy cup for them. Projects work, those who are doing it, it's fresh yogurt.
Fresh yogurt.
Sorry. All right. So you need to lead everywhere. In my class, every time, course rep, I pick 1 male, 1 female. They come together, they'll come and pick the projector. You can start from there. Even in your churches, your social groups, try to lead. It will prepare you for a bigger, position. So you can't just coil up and one day you say that, oh, in fact, I wish I can be an SRC president. You don't know anything about leadership. So start from somewhere. Lead the group. Lead a group. Don't allow the guys to do it so that you motivate them with other things.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Dr. Baidu wants to say something brief.
I just remembered something, and I want to share with the ladies.
Yes.
You see, we are lecturers, and we give recommendation
Yes.
to our students. Very critical. They ask, those are the questions that they ask. And I tell my students that, interestingly, your intellectual ability, perhaps just a couple of questions. The rest are the soft skills.
Exactly.
Leadership potential, your ability to communicate, your creativity. And as I've indicated, all these opportunities are there for you. Do not be afraid. Take advantage. Don't spend so much time on your phone. Even if you do, please go to TED Talk, YouTube. Listen to women who have achieved a lot in life.
That's right.
You understand?
That's true.
So in as much as you are looking at now, the time that I have, this thing that I have, it is for your future, to prepare you for your future. Sometimes we give recommendations for our students to get jobs, and these are the things that they ask. As Madam said, it begins in the classroom.
Exactly.
Presentation skills. Please, when you are called to present, take advantage of it. It helps you.
Thank
Me,
you.
I wasn't like this. I was very shy.
Yes.
I was, yes.
Interesting.
Oh, I have grown a lot. I must say, I have grown a lot. I was very shy. But once I started my postgraduate, I have to overcome that challenge.
I see.
I have to. It was a must for me. So please, ladies, the opportunities are available to you. As you said, the doors are open.
The doors
Please
are open.
enter. All right? And you'll be amazed how those opportunities will transform your life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Baidu. I love what she said, and it has taken my attention to way back 2017 when I did my first degree, BSc Natural Resources Management. Yeah, I was that confident girl way back, and everything that we're doing in class, oh, Beatrice doing kasa or bear presentation, and you know something, I never refused or turned down any presentation. Any opportunity, I grab it. Today, most of my colleagues have been calling me that, oh, you, Nachu, all the lecturers know you because you were even a TA there, they know you. And I beg you, speak to this lecturer for me and take a recommendation from me. I was like, when I went, they told me that you have to come in person. Hey, Beatrice Misro, mean to me yet. That is it. All those times they were giving me those opportunities, I grabbed it. And I made good use of it. And if I didn't, I'm not sure I'll be seated here interacting with these panel members. It has shaped me. It has molded me. And every single day, I'm getting better. I'm improving. So please, I'll plead with you. Some of you are in second year. I heard the second year lady that is reading Doctor of Optometry. She mentioned she wants to I think she wants to go in for a position maybe this year or next year. That's a great thing. You are not here by mistake. You are here for a good purpose. So ladies and gentlemen, whatever that has been said today, please don't let us slide. Don't go home, shut the notebook and sleep. Apply it in your day-to-day activities. Make good use of it. And as I said, what Dr. Breachum, Mrs. Juliana, and Dr. Beidou has said today, including Prof. Ebok and Auntie Millicent Clark has said today, this will stay with you forever and ever in your life. And don't keep it to yourself. Do well to spread the word. Spread the good news to that friend who didn't come, all right? Thank you all so much, my panel members. Now I'll move to you. What questions do you have for us? Time is fast spent. How many of you want to ask a question? 1, 2, 3. All right, so please come for my microphone. Please come for, no, come for this one and give it to them so that they answer the question. So if you have any question, please.
Okay.
You mentioned your name, let's know you.
Okay. Okay, so I'm Prince Oduasarian and I'm currently in my final year of physics. So I have 2 questions, but then in summary, what I want is an advice for the women. So the women I know, or the girls I work with, they speak of what they call soft life. So they want soft life. They don't want to do things that will stress them, like, you're making me think too much. Make it easier. So I want some advice for women who do that, so that they change their perspective. I try to say something to them, but it's like, oh, you're Bema, you know how to do it, so that's why. And then also, I realized, also from observation with some of the women I see around, TAs and all that, that sometimes when women assume certain positions, maybe from the first time, because for older women in higher positions, it's a little bit different. But at the first starting, at the beginning, they feel the need to be a little bit overly strict and exert some sort of power over the position. And so is there any kind of advice for women leaders so that they know how to manage it? Fine, we understand that women are mostly underrepresented, but do they really have to go too far to try to show that I'm a woman and I can also do it? Those are my 2 questions.
Okay, maybe I want to respond to your second question, because first, there's scientific evidence to show that usually when a woman rises to any position of power, she would have gone through a lot of hell to get there. And by the time they get there, they are hardened. Because when you're a woman, and that's something as a man, it's called male privilege, you don't experience it, but you are dealing with disrespect all the time. So because of that, you need to be able to exert yourself. And maybe the situation may not demand it, but it's an instinctive response. And so for you as a male ally, you need to be aware of this and to understand that it is not directed at you. And also to understand the codes that you use to speak to women in position and in power. There are ways in which you won't do to men, but that you are doing to women. And these are things that, as men, we are all doing all the time. We are not aware of it, but we are doing it. And so it's not so much the problem that women have assumed a position, they are bossing you around. It's that one, it could be that you don't like to be bossed by women. And so when you hear a woman speak to you in a certain way, you take offense. It could also be that the woman you are speaking to has had to deal with disrespect the whole time she's gotten to that position. And so it is an instinctive response to establish herself so that she doesn't have to deal with any nonsense. So there's no advice to be given to women, there's advice to be given to men. If you have a position, if you have a woman leader who is in position of authority over you, give her the kind of respect you would give a man. And if you don't get the kind of response you are looking for, understand that it has nothing to do with you and that you are not being disrespected. It is her leadership style because she has to establish herself, because she is getting disrespected all the time.
But Doc, I realized, I'm not saying this personally, I mean, speaking to some of the women, they themselves, they agreed that, hey, this girl, she's being too much.
Again, when I say it's not about men or women, I'm talking about what society has shaped a woman into being. Because, and it's not just, this is not something that is just for young people. It is something that has been studied and been shown to be a scientific fact. Women have to go through a lot of trouble to rise into any position of power. You know what they call the glass ceiling? It is a painful experience that they have to climb through. So there are all kinds of stereotypes that are given to them. And so even when someone is being disrespectful to a woman, we don't look at that. What we look at is a woman's response. And so that's why I'm saying, so, and it will not just be men saying it. It is society that is saying it, because it is society that enforces these stereotypes. And one of the reasons we are having these conversations is so that we become aware of them and so that we change them and challenge them. So, you have a woman leader, understand that, one, you might be communicating disrespect to her all the time just because she's a woman, and it's subconscious. It's not something you are aware of. So understand your communication cues. Are you talking to her the way you would talk to a guy if he was in such a position? Are you giving the same level of respect? You need to do that self-introspection. The next level is look at how other men are treating her and ask yourself, if you were the one being treated this way, what kind of leadership style would you employ? Is that okay? Good. Then your first one was soft life.
Soft life.
Yes. Again, when it comes to soft life, all of us like soft life. In fact, and you happen to be my student, you know that when you were studying C++, your entire class was asking for soft life from me, because I'll be giving you weekend assignments. I even changed the name of the assignments to be class engagement exercises, because people said that assignments and quizzes sounded too harsh. So, again, it's a stereotype that we are subconsciously playing up. The women are the ones who are always saying soft life. But men also want soft life. And they say it differently. I'll give you an example. When you visit your lady friend, the way you want soft life is that you want her to cook for you. That's soft life. Food that you have not paid for. You know? So, again, it's something that we do, and we are not very much aware of it. So when usually a lady is asking for soft life for some level, you should realize that she's probably living hard life somewhere else. And you need to pay attention to these things. And again, I'm talking to all of us here. Because she may have to do certain kinds of cooking, cleaning, things that you as a guy, you would never have to deal with. And if you had to deal with, you would run away from home. So again, Prince. So it's important that we challenge these stereotypes. So you hear women saying they want to live soft life. Remember that as a man, you also want to live soft life. So it's not so much that, but it's more of the fact that how do we encourage ourselves, both young men and young women, to have a different idea about how to live our lives in a way that is productive. And I'll conclude on this. So women, when they want to live soft life, the stereotype is that then they find sugar daddies and whatnots to sort them out to the soft life. But guys, too, when they want to live soft life, what are they doing? Isn't not the scamming and sakawa and all those things that they get, and sugar mummies and all of that. So again, we play into stereotypes and we are not conscious about them. And we need to challenge these stereotypes so that we think differently and so that we address problems constructively so that there's real and proper change. Thank you.
But please, concerning soft life, I meant it in terms of science.
I meant it in terms of everything. Everything. It's not just the science.
Okay, so I want to add, with the women in leadership, women leaders don't change. Do you get it? They don't change. It's one, because of the kind of eye you used to look at her. So assuming right now in my office, colleagues, even student TAs can enter my office to take water from my fridge. They can come, if I have something, they can take and eat. If tomorrow I am an HOD, I am in my office, you can't do that. Because right now, whatever I have, I even use my own money to buy. But when I sit in the office as an HOD, everything there, I am not the one who financed it. So I will not allow you to come and act the same way you used to act towards me when I was not a leader. So when I become a leader, I don't live for myself. I live by the rules governing that leadership. So I have not changed, but I have assumed a new position, and that position came with terms of reference. So I have not changed, but the position has changed some things about me. You get it? But you are expecting to see a woman in a way. So when the woman stands up, you think that she has changed because now she's a leader, so she's become bossy. She's not bossy. She's only doing that. You meet the woman back door in her home. You will see her the way you used to see her. Is that okay? So we don't change. When we become leaders, we don't change. The same thing, a woman can do things freely, but she gets married and she doesn't live for herself. So you can't tell her, oh, let's go, girls out, and she can't go. She needs permission. Even the man, you need permission from your wife before. So any new position, you know, you assume a new responsibility that you need to, you know, abide by. But the soft life, you know, it's like telling me women love money. I love money. Even the parables Jesus gave about the lost coin, it's a woman. I said, which woman will lose the coin, will not go for lamp, look for it? But it came to the sheep, a man. Do you get it? So men, you go out there, you work. We will come and eat the money. I am a woman. I love money so much, but I work for my money. Do you get it? So ladies, when they tell you, oh, ma pesca, don't say, no. Don't you like money? Money is good. We love money. But we will work and get our own money that we can dash you the men's some. All right. Thank you.
Yes, please. Okay, so my question is, when Dr. Achana was speaking, he was saying something like he realized a drop in the performance of his ladies in his class during a COVID time, due to maybe house chores or something like that. And for me personally too, I'm coming from the house, so house chores and all those things. So I want to ask, how can I combine house chores, leadership, and also as a student? How can I combine all these things? I need maybe some advice or something like that, because it's very, very stressful. And I'm also the firstborn, so thank you.
You see, so this is a question I can't answer because I'm a man, and in as much as I can empathize, and I'm also a firstborn, I didn't have to stay at home and go to school. I'm currently, maybe I can give some context. Currently, I live alone because my wife is not in the country, so I have to do the house chores myself. And I'm assuming leadership responsibilities in the department, in my lab, in my research group, and so on and so forth. So I have to manage the house, I have to manage a home, going to the market and doing my shopping and things like that. And it's tricky. Fortunately, I don't have to answer to anyone. You have to answer to parents, right? And I don't have to take care of younger siblings. You have to take care of younger siblings. So the only place I can help you up to is where I work up to. So I need to be better scheduled, have a better organizational system. But at this point, I will hand over to those with lots more experience than me so that they can answer.
I would encourage you to actually embrace it, because you are being prepared for the future. That is how it's going to be. You are getting a snapshot of your future. And I'm in a similar situation. My husband is not here. I'm here with the kids. I have a lot to do. I don't have house help. I have to do a lot of things by myself. I'm just lucky that my firstborn is 10 years, so at least I can ask her to do certain things for me. But what you need is to plan. You have to get maybe a small notebook to plan. You have to know when you wake up. You have to, in fact, make a whole assessment of the amount of time that you have at your disposal to study and also to do housework. So you have to plan. You have to itemize the things that you have to do for the day. If you have to clean, if you have to wash dishes, any house chore that you have to do, you have to have a specific time that you do it. When you, and also when you leave the house and come to school, know that you go back home. You have a certain number of hours during the day, and make sure that you maximize it. You have to prioritize. You are not like your friends who are living on campus. All right? So you have a much greater responsibility of prioritizing your activities. So, okay? So that is the advice that I'll give you. You have to plan your day, how it goes and all that. And also have time, make time to study. And in your position, I think the best way for you to study is to have a study group. All right? To have a study group. If even you have to meet during the weekends, you have to try as much as possible to make the time to do it. So that's what I will say to you.
She has said what I was going to say.
So because of our time, we'll take, hey, a lot of people want to ask questions. How many people? Okay, so we'll take the Valentine people, red and white. So the lady red, and then my grandson will come behind. So my lady, you go next.
Okay, hello, please. I'm Naomi, a third year biochemistry student. So then my question was actually asked, his second question was my first question. But then I want to shift it in another light. So as a woman in leadership, we are, okay, today's program is about the impactfulness of women in leadership. But then looking at it in another light, there are some women who are abusing their power. As in, like, maybe they're not really impacting. They are abusing their power, doing wrong things. So that's my first question. And then my second question was actually prompted by Mrs. Baidu. She said the men are being left behind. So then I feel we are recreating the problem, because initially the women were left behind, and then we are promoting this Wistem and all those stuff. So then I feel there's an imbalance in the way. So then future years, the men might be left behind, and there will be a program about men in science and, and stuff. So then is there a way we can balance this so there should be women and men in science or something? That's my question.
Okay. Let me come back to your question again. When you look at this world and all the problems in this world, who are the leaders in the world? Is it men or women? It's men. We are always complaining about how Africa is backward and so on and so forth. Who have been the majority of the presidents? Which gender? Have it been men or women? Men. But never will you say that a man has misbehaved, so men are a problem. Do you understand? Let women take up leadership roles and misbehave, because human beings, when they take up leadership roles, sometimes they misbehave. But because women are a marginalized group, anytime one woman takes up a leadership role, she's representative of all women, and then she carries an unfair burden of having to be super exceptional, because even if she disrespects one person, hey, all women. And so it is okay that you have a woman leader who disrespects you. It is fine. Because when a male leader disrespects you, you don't hold it against all men. So that's where I'm coming at it from. So it's okay. Let a woman leader have some fun. Let her be corrupt. Let her steal some. No, like, it's okay, because we don't hold men to that standard. So we need to change that mindset. I'm not saying that women leaders should be corrupt. What I'm just trying to say that our reaction to such situations shouldn't make it a woman's responsibility to represent all women just because she has attained one position. We don't hold any man responsible like that. So we need to change that thinking. Then your second question was on what? What was it? The imbalance. So, when you look at, let me talk about science. When you look at the number of publications globally that are coming from African women in science, it accounts for 0.02 of global publications coming from African women in science. We have a long way to go. And the men are not being left behind. We have a very, very long way to go to get women to anywhere near any equity. When you look at the number of women professors in KNUST, we have a lot of work to do to get women anywhere, and no men are being left behind. What will happen is that when you, because you see in Ghana, the parity is 50-50. We have 50% women, 50% men. It's almost that, like slightly, I think it's slightly skewed towards the men. It's slightly skewed towards the women, yes. But it's almost 50-50. So ideally, in every facet of Ghanaian society, we should have 50-50 representation. Is that okay? We don't have that. And so until we can gain that as a society, we need to keep working towards that. And that's why these programs are mostly important. Now, anytime you're organizing, for a very long time, I haven't seen this in KNUST campus for a while, but almost every time you're organizing a women's program, it will be how to do nails, how to do beads, how to do hair, how to do makeup. But you won't find these same things for men. When you are doing when you are having movies are being made and stories are being told about women, a woman is one of three things. She's either a mother, a girlfriend, spouse, a girlfriend, or or a spouse. That's where her roles end. Men will be lawyers, drivers. So until our society can rethink these things, and men are not being left behind, it's a narrative that comes up because then men sit down and look at how women are organizing these things, and rather than start to organize things for themselves, they sit down and say, if you don't do some for us, we are being left behind. And I throw that back at men and say, no, if you want to have Wistem, then organize and come. If you want to have Wistem Boys Camp, then let's come together and do it. But when we are trying to help women who largely are marginalized, in Ghana, it's been such a huge problem. When families have to save money to educate one child, they will educate the boy. So until we can have that level of parity, where a lady doesn't feel like she has to choose between a career and a family, where companies understand that if you employ a lady, she's not going to become pregnant and then take leave, maternity leave. Like, until we can change these things, we have a very, very long way to go. But let me conclude by talking about the 0.02. Like, for me, it is frightening that global publications, African women at 0.02. Then how much more Ghanaian women? Where are we? Thank you.
Okay, so it is threatening, so you need to help us. You know, I jokingly always say that when it comes to promotion, if men, we are to submit maybe 8 articles for promotion, maybe ladies, women should be allowed to submit maybe 6, yeah. But it is equal up there. You know, my husband is also a lecturer. He's a professor at the University of Cape Coast. During vacation, sometimes he comes home with his scripts. So in the morning, he will sit on the study, marking. Then he will ask me, breakfast, I prepare. I pick my own scripts. It is 12 o'clock. What are we eating? I go to the kitchen, I prepare. Then dinner. In the evening, he will just pick at me. You don't have motivation for marking. Look at the script I have marked and look at what you have. So just look at him. This man sitting at one place. I will give
the breakfast, he finishes, I will pick the plates, then I will wash. Maybe I have to do some laundry along the line, I'll do some cleaning. He expects us to mark, you know, the same scripts at the end of the day. So the 0.02, if we don't take care, it will even decline. Because we come to the office, we are cooking, we are doing our work at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I have to rush home because my husband is in. I have to go home. I work at night. I am very active at night. But how can I work at night? You become so exhausted at night. So all these things, you know, the balance, you know, we have to try. We have to try. I know we have a long way to go, but the women becoming so powerful. You know, we say power corrupts. Generally, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. That's what I was taught in my government class, you know. So it's not only women, but because women, we are not many in leadership. So we are always in the limelight. We see us. You know, you have a grain of rice, then one beans, it's in it. It becomes identifiable. So men, one time an assemblyman was driving a big car. He was blowing the siren. I looked through the mirror. I didn't, you know, move side. So we got to Susan. So he just drove in front of me. And he said, didn't you see me coming? I asked, who? Because I look at your number plate. It is white. Like, I went to the driving school. They told me, you are not an ambulance. Even hers, I'm not supposed to give way. If I do it, it has of my own, you know, thing that I want you to pass. If a wedding car is coming, I won't stop. If you can overpass me, bypass me. The man was angry, insulting. So, do you know who I am? I said, do you also know who I am? He said, I am this. They said he's an assemblyman. I said, what's your educational qualification? You have an SSC. Do you know the qualification I have? Do you know the work I do? Because I'm driving a small car, you have this, you know, V8. Maybe you've been sent with it. So I asked him, prove to me that the car is yours. So I told him that anytime you see me, watch my car. I will never, you know, give you way. Be part of it. If we allow them to also move the way we are, they will see the need to construct our roads. So if the presidents are coming, they have to join the queue. Be in the traffic so that they see the need for these, you know, kind of alternative roads for us. So please, women don't outgrow in power. It's the same thing. Just that women are not many in power. So just if one person, as Doc said, one person does something and they use it to generalize. Men are also corrupt in their power, but there are many. So at a point we lose count. We lose count of them. That's why we are not talking about them. All right.
Thank you very much. So our last question, and I want Dr. Bailey to answer it because of our time. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. My name is Abnecha. I'm an MBA in finance student, year 2. And please, my question came when Madam was making her submission some minutes ago. She mentioned that she got married in society quite late in society. Now, unfortunately or fortunately, I happen to be the only child of my parents. And I sort of have very high aspirations in academia. And whenever I tell my mother about it, she's like, apart from that too, she's also like, yeah, fire war and all that. So my question is, I don't think I'm the only person in that situation. I think that there are so many women around that have very high inspirations, that are very smart, but have lost all these things or have had to stop because the society says, yeah, no, fire war and all that. So I'm saying that how do you bypass all those things and still get to focus on that goal to be able to say that, oh yeah, this is what I want to do? Because I realized that all our speakers are married. It started with the doctor, the Wistem executive. Yes. I think she's married. Then from Auntie, I intentionally checked everybody's left finger. I realized that they were all married. I realized that they were all married women. There's a professor seated there, Professor Bid. She's also married. So I was just thinking that how did you all do it forgetting what the society has to say and then moving on to say that this is what I want to do, and then you are finally there with your doctorates and professor degrees. Thank you.
The aspect about age, it will be difficult for me to answer because I married early. I married at the age of 25. Yes, so I married quite early. In fact, for me, being a woman in science and staying and being married also is a challenge. In fact, it's quite challenging. But it depends. Your success depends on the person that you marry. All right? I think when Mrs. Clark was giving her submission, she said that if you marry a bad woman, if you marry a bad woman or if you marry a bad man, you bear the consequences of it. So it depends on the spouse that you marry. I'm fortunate to also have a husband who is in academia. So he understands some of the challenges that we women have. And he also has engineering background, chemical engineering and all that. So we do a lot of things together. All right? So you are not married. So this tells you that you should be mindful of who you marry. Okay? You can stay in academia if you want to stay in academia, but you can stay in science, be successful, and still be married. But you need someone who will support you, who understands the challenges that comes with you being a woman and working in STEM, or you being a woman and have to wake up early, or maybe even go on a night shift. You have to, the person that you marry is very critical. All right? So please, my advice to you is that take into account what you intend to achieve in future, and then select the right person who will support that dream for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Dr.
Oh, please assist.
Okay, so what I would say is marriage is not a bad thing, but it can make you and unmake you. So I didn't marry early, but it is not a decision I took. Maybe when I was growing. It's like I'm a woman, I can't go and marry a man. A man has to come and marry me. And maybe there are certain decisions, you get stuck in a relationship, you know it's not going to work, but society, you know, I don't have that courage to say that I'm walking away. So you waste so much time. It happened. It's not a pleasant thing. But one thing I didn't allow this late marriage to take from me is my aspirations in life. So I won't say that I am waiting to get married if the marriage is not coming. When I completed training college, I told myself I am going to teach for 3 years, then I will go for further studies, whether married or not. So I got there 3 years, marriage has not come. I went to UCC, I finished, I did my master's, marriage was not coming, I can't sit down. So these are things, you know, they are something you don't have control over. But with my education, as long as my brain is there and the resources side, I can get it. So I am not going to say that if marriage is not coming, I'm not going to upgrade myself. And sometimes I tell myself that maybe if not for the education, I would have ended up with just anybody that I've regretted today. So what the opportunities that are readily available, grab that. If marriage comes, it's not a bad thing. Even when you're in first year, marriage comes, you think that that marriage is prospectus. You can marry and it will help you to go. Why not? You can do it as long as you can balance the two. So it's not a bad thing. If it comes early, fine. If it doesn't come early, fine. Otherwise, you will go up in life and you regret, you feel so stressed, so depressed because you think you are not married and everybody becomes an enemy around you. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you all so much. Ladies and gentlemen, you can do it better for our panelists. Yes, it has been such an inspiring, it has been such an educative and insightful and also a thought-provoking discussion with our panelists. To Dr. Achana Brichum, Dr. Martina Francisca Beidu, and Mrs. Juliet Opon Asari Ansa, I say thank you very much for sharing your wisdom with us today. What do you all say to them? God bless you. And ladies and gentlemen, just like you know, we all have a role to play in shaping a more inclusive and equitable future for we women. So please let us all rise up, dare to dream, and take action today. All right, thank you all so much once again. And before we move to the second chapter of this program, I would invite Madam Millicent Clark here to give us a word or two, please, with a round of applause. Yes, 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 we want to hear from Mommy again, right? Exactly, she's full of wisdom, that's the truth. So Mama, oh yes.
As I said earlier, you know, I said, oh, I'm coming to the program. Next minute they said, come and talk. Now they're saying I must come and say something. It's been absolutely beautiful to be here this morning, listening to the panelists. You saw me writing a lot because I learned a lot as well. I think that there are so many things that, looking at my younger self, because that's exactly what I was trying to do. I put myself in their shoes, looking at my younger self, and things like, I got married also at 24 and a half years old, right? Yeah. No, the guy was my boyfriend at university, and I was afraid if I didn't say yes quickly, somebody would take him, right? So I said yes quickly. But what I want to say to you is, you can do things concurrently. And your mother is worried. Of course she's worried. I'm worried for my daughter, who is 27. And each time I say to her, when are you getting married? She goes, Mama. And then, like, the conversation stops. You can do things concurrently. Remember what doctor said? Don't forget what your vision is. If you want to be a lecturer, you want to be a professor, it doesn't mean you can't get married along the way. Don't lose yourself in it. Because the person that you marry will at least show the way in terms of where you get to. But I think there's a lot to learn. I was writing because I was thinking, oh, next time this is what I want to talk to them about. Oh, next time this is what I want to talk to them about. And I must say, Dr. Brichum, is that your name? Thank you really for joining the women. You are an advocate. You are advocates for women. I sat there looking at you so proud to say, this is what we need in industry, where he understands the issues of women and what makes us tick, what the issues really are. I just want to say a big thank you to you. And thank you all for, coming late. And yeah, I think I shall see you guys soon again. So thank you so much. And you were wonderful. So continue doing what you do. Thank you.
I appreciate. God bless you. Yeah, please, Dr. Brichum, he's outside. Please, someone should call him for me. Yes. Doc. Yes. Yeah, please, let's show some love once again for Dr. Brichum. Yes. You can see that when he was seated here, the Wistem was working. The men in science and technology. Very soon you hear it on campus. So thank you, Ma. God bless you. And I will invite Professor Bessie Baidu to give us a word as well. With a round of applause, let's welcome her.
Yes. So Auntie Millicent, please take it easy. Zit for us. Yes. So thank you very much, Auntie Millicent, for coming. So we just met, and then I shared this program with her, and then she said, yeah, I'll come and sit in. Of course, I had not checked her out, but just the interactions we had at the IPO office, I knew that she's somebody that we would want to have amongst us, and then so that she share her wisdom with us. And so when I got to know about her, reading more about her, I said, yeah, this woman needs a seat at Wistem. She needs a seat. So thank you very much for deciding to come. And then our ladies, no, I think it's great. Somebody told me that if you call the students and you have 30, then you are blessed. And so whatever number we have, we are happy. Let's enjoy this time, okay? Let's not think about the men, whether we are leaving them behind. I have had that opportunity to answer all the time as you are leaving the guys behind. We are not leaving the guys behind. And of course, Dr. Bridgum he said it all. The numbers we need to make even 20%, we don't have it. And this is not only an African story. I was in Cambridge, and the people I'm working with, the woman told me that, Mercy, do you know that I have been the lowest paid professor in this department for this number of years, and I didn't know. And I was like, you know, they negotiate their salaries. And she is actually the senior most professor, because she was a student and then went through the ranks, became a lecturer there, and then became a professor. Everybody there, whether it's a man, it's a guy, whatever, she has taught. But she was the lowest paid. And she does almost everything. So the story is not in Ghana, it's not in Africa, it's global. In fact, when you go to Cambridge, they have colleges that are female colleges. Because at a point, the ladies were not allowed to come together with the guys in the lab. I didn't know. In the UK. And when they took, I was like, hey, so we are not leaving the guys behind, okay? Don't let us be intimidated. Whenever we are organizing this program, they will tell me 1,000. Today, I've heard it 1,000 times. Mercy, you are leaving the guys. And if you don't take care, you'll be intimidated. And I think it's a trick. If I were a pastor, I would say from the pit of hell. Yeah, so we shouldn't be. When we were called to come, you see, the first people that came for this meeting were actually guys. When the bus arrived, I could count about 10 guys, and I have about 3 ladies. And I was like, oh, where are my ladies? Where were we? The guys are here. So please, let us take the opportunities. Don't let us think about them. We love them. We love the guys. Everything I do with the guys. We love them. But let us love ourselves too. Is that okay? So thank you all for coming. We have part 2. I will see Madam off. If we behave well, I'm sure she will come again. For you, especially our graduate students. Yeah. So thank you very much, Madam, for coming. Yeah. So I'll see you guys later.
Okay. So thank you all so much. So I think it's time for you want a picture? Okay, so.
Okay. So it looks as if my panel members want to leave. Please, you cannot leave. But so I don't want to thank them, otherwise they'll go. All right, so we are not done with yes, this is the first part. But of course, our panelists, we are grateful. We hope that you could stay a little bit more, but of course, I know the time. Very soon, some of us are taxi drivers. Yes, so as for us, we know how to conclude our conversations. So thank you so much for coming. We will go and take a group picture outside, and then we will start with the photo next.
All right, so shall we all rise up? Let's head out. Let's take a group picture with our panelists, most importantly. And also, for those that came late, do well to connect, okay? Do well to network with people. Take someone's contact. Say hi to the person. It's very important. Thank you so much.
She's engineering, bold and wise, lifting the world, reaching the skies. From Circus Park to Bridges Wide, she shapes the future, turns the tide.
Social science, voice so strong, fighting for change, righting the wrong. She studies people, hearts and laws, lifting others, causing drive.
She discovers, she creates, she leads. She dares, she builds, she plants the seeds. From origins bright to fields unknown, she creates her space. She stands alone.
Not in silence, not in doubt, but with power, fierce and loud.
To every girl with dreams untold, may your discoveries forever unfold.
Rise up and take charge. Lift your voice and conquer. The world runs better with women in lead. Happy International Day to women and girls in science.
I know we are 4, but when I go on class, I don't hear their names. So it's like they want to come, but they don't know how to come. Something like that. This program, you didn't even share it to me. You didn't share it to me. Let me share.